I love that, and I think it's so important, like what you've highlighted already in terms of attention, because even with the meme market, for example, I think a lot of people they what we've seen anyway, generally with crypto investing, and just generally with social media as well, is that people just they will hear sound bites or people saying something, and they'll just go run at it without any research or any
Yeah.
knowledge. So, like with the meme coins, for example, they'll hear of one, let's say, just a random one, and they'll just invest. They won't even look to manage or look at a chart or whatever it may be. What are your thoughts when looking at memes and sort of managing your positions whenever invested? Like, what is it that you would look for in terms of how to get out, or would you look to invest and then is there any sort of like break even sort of strategy that you would go for? Because I know a
I'm
lot of
big on
people just
memes.
hold.
I'm big on memes. So one is if you're just reading something on Twitter and you buy it, you're not investing, you're gambling, and you're depending on somebody else to make you money. 95% of the time, you're going to lose it because you don't understand the thesis or the analysis that the other person has done. You're just trusting them. Now, there's people out there that have good track records. Okay, look at what they're saying, but don't just take it. Do your own research. What is your own research in a very practical way? Specifically in crypto, what do you bet on? One, winning teams, right? So you bet on winning teams. Who's the CMO? What's their strategy in order to acquire new eyeballs? Because that's what matters. And meme culture is about who can acquire the attention. Now you begin to see kind of narrative swarm. You saw Pepe kind of take off. Okay, and then I was like, okay, Pepe took off and it took off on the Ethereum chain. And then you started hearing something about the lines of something called the Boys Club. And you're like, okay, what's the Boys Club? Oh, well, Pepe, the character that everybody knows, he's part of this comic book thing. It's called the Boys Club. I'm like, okay, well, there's other characters to that in that thing as well. And then I see a meme pop up on Base Chain called Brett. And I look at the character and I'm like, okay, this thing's at $1 billion market cap. Okay, this is the second character of this thing. So I'm like, okay, what are these meme guys doing? Then I go to Solana and there's the third one, which is called Wolf. And then I'm like, okay, so these guys are building a narrative. So I catch on to the narrative and I start buying. And the market starts performing in that direction because the narrative makes sense. The narrative is, hey, Pepe took off, therefore the other ones are going to take off as well because they're part of the same idea. Enough people are believing into this concept and the performance is doing extremely well. Number one. Number two is their ability to list on exchanges and their ability to access liquidity.